moments later.
Hello, Papa. Hello, Anita. What are you doing?
I think I want to play this game, Uno games.
Oh, no, okay.
Yeah, do you want to play this Uno with me?
Of course. I wanna try to. I want to mix this card. Do you mind?
Yes. Hello everyone. Welcome to our podcast. I'm Koha, and today I will bring you something a little different. Instead of recording in a quiet place and formal place, we are actually sitting in a cafe in Coffee Surabaya. Um, Surrounded by people, conversation, and maybe a lot of background noise because this coffee plays music. But honestly, that exactly what made this special. Because today's discussion is not just about learning; it's about experience learning in a more natural and relaxed way. Yes. And to make things even more interesting, we are also playing a game, Uno game, while doing this podcast. So, yes, this might get a little chaotic, but we promise it will also be fun and meaningful.
Hey everyone, I'm Nifa, and I really like this kind of setting because it feels more real. Like we're just having a conversation as friends instead of presenting something formal. Sometimes when people talk about academic topics, it feels too serious and hard to follow. So today we are playing Uno, but don't worry, we're not going to turn into a competition. Also, I will probably win anyway. But more importantly, we're going to talk about something that is actually very important in human life society. That knowledge.
Okay, so today we're focusing on the knowledge system from our mind map, especially how people understand nature, use herbal medicine, develop survival skills, and create defense systems. What I find really interesting is how their knowledge is deeply connected to their environment. Um, it's not something they learn from textbook or the internet, but something taken from their experience. They observe, they try, they fail, and they learn again. And I think that process makes their knowledge much stronger and more meaningful compared to the way we often learn things today.
Yes, I agree. And I think that's where the biggest difference lies. In modern society, we often separate knowledge from real life. We study theories, we study theories, memorize concepts, and focus on exams. But we don't always apply what we learn. Right? Meanwhile, in these civilizations, knowledge is directly used every day. For example, when they learn about nature, it's not just about knowing facts. It's about survival. They need to understand. Hmm, they need to understand which plants they can eat and which ones are dangerous and how the environment changes. And honestly, if we were in their positions, I think we would struggle a lot.
Okay, Ipa. Yeah. Imagine this. You suddenly wake up in a jungle with no phone, no internet, no help. You're surrounded by unfamiliar plants, strange sounds, and you don't know what's safe or dangerous. That's the reality they live in. But for them, it's normal. They don't panic because they have knowledge. They know how to find food, how to get clean water, and how to stay safe.
Okay.
Meanwhile, I will probably just sit there and create all my life jobs.
Then I will be like, okay, okay, this is the end. This is the end. But that's exactly why their knowledge system is so impressive. It's not just knowledge, it's survival intelligence. And I think what makes it even more interesting is how this knowledge is passed on. It's not written in books, but shared through experience and practice. So learning becomes something alive, not just something direct. Like
Um, okay, another part that I find really fascinating is herbal medicine. Instead of relying on modern healthcare, they use plants to treat illness. And this shows how much they trust nature. But at the same time, it also requires a very deep understanding. Because if you use the wrong plant, it could be dangerous. So the knowledge has to be very precise.
okay. Wait. I want to first.
Okay.
Okay. But do you think this is always better than modern medicine? Because while herbal medicine is natural, it might not always be as effective or fast as modern treatments. Like if someone has a serious illness, relying on lion pants could be risky.
Yeah, that's true. I don't think it's about which one is better. I think it's about comparison. Nature environment, herbal medicine is the best option they have. Um, and they develop it over time. But In modern society, we have access to advanced medical technology, so it makes sense to use that. However, I do think we can still learn from them, especially about using natural resource wisely.
Yeah, I agree. Maybe the best approach is combining both. Using modern medicine, but also appreciating natural medicines. Because sometimes we rely too much on chemical solution without considering simpler alternatives.
Um, okay, now let's talk about survival skills, which honestly sounds cool, but also terrifying. They know how to hunt, build shelter, and read natural signs. It's like they have a completely different skill set compared to us.
Yeah, those are very practical. Meanwhile, our skills are like making aesthetic presentation and scrolling social media.
Hey, don't attack me like that.
Why? I'm taking but so fast.
Fair enough. But yeah, I think this shows how humans adapt to their environment. If we grow up in the kind of society, we will probably have those skills too. But because we grow up in a digital world, we develop different abilities.
Okay, wait, you better get to your time.
Oh, yes. Oh, I'm sorry. I forget.
Okay, that's okay. Another important aspect is defense. We don't just survive individually, they survive as a community. They protect each other, work together, and build systems to stay safe.
Wait.
Okay.
Okay.
Wait. I repeat my sentence.
Okay. Yes.
Another important aspect is defense.
Okay.
They don't just survive individually.
Mm-hmm.
They survive as a community. They protect each other, work together, and build systems to stay safe.
Yes, and I think that this is something we often forget. Knowledge is not just about individual; it's also collective. When people share knowledge and work together, they become stronger. And honestly, that's something we should apply more in our daily lives.
That. So, if we think about it, this knowledge system is not just about survival. It's about understanding life. It teaches people to observe, adapt, and respect their environment.
And maybe that some things we're slowly losing. We're becoming more advanced, but sometimes less aware. So learning about this kind of knowledge system might us to reconnect with the basics.
Okay. So, from this discussion, we can see that knowledge is not just about information. It's about how we use it in our lives. Whether it comes from books, experience, or nature. What matters is how it helps us grow and survive.
And maybe the biggest lesson here is that learning doesn't have to be complicated. It can happen anywhere, even in simple moment like this, sitting in a cafe, having a conversation, and just being present. Okay, before you wrap this up, I think it's interesting to connect all of this to our lives today. Because at first, feudalism feels like something very far away, right? Like it's just history, something we study for exams. But if you really think about it, some of the patterns actually still exist, just in different forms.
Like what?
Like power structures. Back then, power was based on law. Today, it's more about money, access, maybe even influence, but the idea that certain groups hold more power than others that hasn't really disappeared.
Yeah, that's true. It's like the system changed, but inequality didn't fully go away.
Exactly. And another thing is how people respond to change. Like during the this claim of feudalism, people didn't just accept it; they adapt. They moved to cities, changed jobs, question authority.
Oh, which is kind of similar to today, right? Like how people adapt to technology, AI, yeah, new job markets.
Yes, exactly. Change is constant. The concept is different,
Oh,
but the process feels similar.
so basically, medieval people also has their own version of career crisis.
Honestly, yeah. Just visit LinkedIn or motivation podcast.
That's the no 5 steps to reinvent your side.
Just pipes and survival.
Respect, honesty. But let me ask you something to see. Life actually got better after feudalism ended, or just different?
That's a good question. I think overall, yes, it improves because people get more freedom and mobility. But at the same time, new system also created new challenges.
Like capitalism, competition, inequality.
Absolutely. So it's not like one perfect system replace a bad one. It's more like evolution.
So every system solves some problems but practice new ones.
And that's why studying history is important because it shows us that no system is permanent.
Oh, I see. What I find interesting is how people start this questioning authority during the time. Like they didn't just follow traditions but blindly anymore.
And that's actually a big turning point because once people start asking why everything changes,
Yeah, and I feel like that's something we still need today.
definitely critical thinking is still relevant. Maybe even more now.
Especially with how much information we get every day.
Exactly. Back then, questioning authority with capitalism, today it helps us navigate complex systems.
But honestly, if I lived during feudal times, I don't think I'd survive.
Same. I'd be like, why? Same. I'd be like, why? Human no Wi-Fi,
No food delivery.
no air condition.
Okay, I'm done. I'm quiet immediately. I'm quit immediately.
You can you can put that's the whole point of feudalism.
Alright, no read, no sign letter option.
But jokes aside, I think that we can say from the things that change, no matter how uncomfortable, can lead to transformation.
And also that people play a role in that change. It's not just something that happens automatically.
Yeah, people accepting, questioning, and making decisions. That's why drive history forward.
So, in a way, studying this isn't just about the past.
But also about understanding how change work in general. Okay. Whoa. That code tip again.
Yeah, we started with feudalism and ended with life philosophy.
Classic podcast behavior.
Exactly.
All right. Now I think we're really ready to close.
Okay, so thank you, everyone.
Yeah, thank you guys for listening us and thank you for watching.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Going on